right, I think we're live. I know it's early. I'm here at a truck stop and I wanted to make sure the audio sounded okay, that it's not too loud, so that before we start at 3. Um, yeah, so, if you're in here, if you can hear me, let me know in the chat. Let me make sure. And Jay, if you're in here, if you can tell me, can you hear me? And if you can hear me, let me know. Hi, Lisa. Can you hear me okay? I want to make sure, hopefully it's not too loud. I'm at a rest stop in Grundy County, Tennessee. So it's kind of loud, but I think I've got a good signal. Okay, good. So you can hear me. Good. And I won't start taking questions until 3, since people were a little like, oh, don't start, until 3, which I get. So we'll give everybody a chance to get in here, and I'll wait a few minutes. But I hope your Wednesday's going well. Everybody out there. We are. Hi, Joanne. Good. Oh, hey, Jim. Glad you can hear me loud and clear. And hey, I remembered your name. Let's see. So, yeah, we're traveling. We're just coming up from Northeast Georgia, which is where I'm from originally. We were in visiting for family for like 2 weeks. So that was a lot of fun. And now we're heading up north to, well, right now we're in Tennessee, but we're going, our ultimate destination we think is Glacier National Park. So, hi there, Saifo. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. And Catherine, hi. So I was just letting everybody know we're just, waiting for actual, it's so funny, it's technically 1:55 right now where I'm at. So, and I was trying to keep the time zones straight in my head, and because I knew I had said 3 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time, but then we crossed into Tennessee, and so then my phone and my Fitbit automatically changed time zones. So then I got very confused because we're driving down the road, and I'm thinking, okay, are we right, or wait, do I have an extra hour? But we're here, and I think I'm here on time. So, okay, good, yay. Okay, it sounds like the audio is good. Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. Oh, hi there, White and Gray Boutique. I know you were in here last week, so that's cool. It's 20:55 in Russia. 20:55. Now you're making me do math right now. Let's see, that's what, like 9 o'clock at night? Is that 9 o'clock at night? Almost 9? I think that's right. I don't know. I know military time, but I think that's right. We'll see. Let's see. Well, it would be 8:55. 8:55, right? Yeah, so almost 9 o'clock at night. Hi, Diana. Oh, not Russia. Oh, South Africa. Oh, RSA. I'm assuming that means South American time. Or I don't know. Oh, Russia's, let's see. So in RSA. So what does RSA stand for? Lisa, it's almost 11 a.m. Where are you? Let's see. 11 a.m. Man, my brain. Let's see. So you must be on the West Coast, right? That's right. I don't know. I'm Alaska. That's right. You're the one in Alaska. Lisa, man, I'm so jealous. I bet it's beautiful there right now. I've heard August, right? Were you the one that was telling me you need to visit by August, or it gets too snowy? Let me know. Okay, Republic of South Africa, RSA. Okay, Saifo. I hope I'm saying your name correctly, Saifo. It's very wet right now? Ah, well, I bet it's still pretty. Oh, and you're in Alaska too, Diana. That's interesting, because Alaska, I kind of always think of it as not being very populated, but I guess there are a lot of people there. Sonia. Oh, hi, Sonia. Hope you're doing well. Oh, good. I pronounced it correctly. Okay, we got a couple more minutes. I'm going to wait until 3 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time to start answering questions, but getting more popular all the time. Yeah, oh man. So, like, I read a book, the Sarah Palin book, because, she's from there. I can't think of the name of the title. It was years and years ago that I read it, but oh my gosh, it made me want to move to Alaska because of the beauty that she talked about. Oh, you in Alaska. That's so funny. Um, let's see. Okay, Beverly, you'll have the first question since you asked it, and I'm going to wait 2 minutes so that I start the questions or at 3 o'clock because I don't want anyone to miss it. That's like, oh, yeah, I thought you started at 3. Okay, Graceful Sky. It's nearly 10 o'clock at night in Israel, and Saifa, I'm a former. Oh, you're a former South African. Oh, neat. Wow, so 10 o'clock at night. So we got people tuning in. This is so cool to me that we got some people at 10 o'clock at night right now, some people at like 11 a.m., and then I'm right here in the middle of the afternoon. Well, a little bit earlier than what I normally would be. It's technically 2 o'clock where I am, but almost 2 o'clock. We got like 2 more minutes. So yeah, we are on our way to Glacier National Park. So if anyone's been there and has any tips, let me know. Am I on my way to Oklahoma, Carlene? No, I don't know where we're heading. Actually, I don't even know the route exactly that we're taking. I think we're going, I need to look at a map. We are going up through St. Louis and then up to, I think, Mount Rushmore, and then over to Glacier, and then possibly down through Yellowstone, and we're hoping the weather's going to stay cooperative through all this. So, but we'll see. Okay, let's see. Okay. All right. So, I think we're ready to start. So, let me go get that first question that Beverly asked, which was, well, I really thought that, let's see, I must have scrolled right by it. Okay, Beverly, you asked, how many calories do you burn walking 6 miles? That's a really good question. It really depends on how fast you're walking, what your body is like. So if you're heavier, you're going to be burning more calories, and if you're lighter, you're going to be burning less calories. Your pace and the terrain too. So I heard a thing one time that they kind of said a rough rule of thumb, I think, was like 100 calories per mile, but it's a little like you can punch it into like a calculator. There are tons of them online. You could just Google, calorie burn calculator, and then you can put in your measurements so that you get more of like and the pace and everything, so you can get more of an idea of what you're burning. So I think I've got it on my website somewhere where I think I punched into a calculator, and I think it was more like around 400 for me. But okay, hey Darlene. All right, White and Gray, you asked, do you put stevia in your coffee, or is it okay to? And Sonia, that's awesome, 18 pounds. Oh, so excited for you. Okay, so I don't do artificial sweeteners, and I know that stevia, I think, is like from a natural plant, right? I think that's the one that's from like a leaf, but I still don't use it, just because I when I eliminated sugar from my drinks, and I did that just to make the fasting window easier. I just stopped liking sweet drinks. It's the weirdest thing. Like, I think last week I was talking about how, I tried a cherry limeade from Sonic, which used to be my favorite all time. Like, if you love me, bring me a cherry limeade, type thing. And it was like so syrupy sweet. I just couldn't stand it. And so now, like, what will happen to me too, like, even if I go to, a restaurant or something and I order my coffee with just cream, sometimes they'll forget and put cream and sugar. And I don't like that either. So I just don't like the taste of sweet coffee anymore, which is crazy to say that out loud sometimes still. But as far as can you, I think you can. A lot of people use stevia, I know, successfully with keto. And so, really, the thing a lot of people, the rules that they make up for, fasting, right? You can't create the insulin response or start the insulin response. I am more loosey-goosey. I say, whatever you want in your life, in your fasting window, like as far as like drinks go, within reason, try. I mean, anything really. Try it and see if you can do it, and just record your results and see if it's working for you. Yeah, so I don't do it, but I think it would be fine. But I always say experiment. See, like some people have like all different kinds of things, smoothies and protein shakes and all that. Oh wow, son, you got your sister on board and she's lost 3.5 pounds. That is awesome. Ah, I love it. I love it. Uh, I'm gonna butcher your name, Edwige. I hope I pronounced that right. Hello from France. Love your laid back approach. Oh, well, thanks. You're low carb, counting macros, but way more relaxed than OMADing. You even have cheat days twice a month. Wow, you're down 75 pounds. That is awesome. And 1.5 pounds from, oh, let's see, Wonderland? I think that's how you say that. I don't know. That is fantastic. Congratulations. I mean, and I love that you're learning, right, how to kind of relax into it and give yourself that kind of freedom. And sounds like you're starting to really trust yourself, and that has been a huge thing for me, is to learn how to trust myself. So that's great. Let's see. Darlene, you've been walking 10,000, 12,000 every day for the last 5 days. Ah, awesome! Thank you for inspiring me to want more. Well, I'm so happy that I did, and I bet you're feeling good too. That's how I always just feel really good when I'm walking. Let's see, Carlene, have you decided on a goal weight? If so, what protocol will you follow? Will you go back to 2 or 3 meals? And how will I maintain? That is an excellent question. I'm still not at a point where I'm ready to say I'm maintaining right now. I still feel like this plan's gonna let me lose. Feel like I can get into the 130s with this plan. I'm not sure. We'll see. But as far as maintenance mode goes, I plan to be very experimental in the beginning. I don't know that I will go back to 3 meals a day, just because I don't particularly like the way I feel when I do 3 meals a day. Like when on my cheat day, like it varies on which times that I eat. Like when do I start eating? When do I end eating? Even on cheat days, occasionally I'll do like breakfast and supper, and I really just don't eat a lot in between those meals. Just not because I'm trying to be good. It's just like just not hungry or whatever. I really like what I do right now. Like I love not really having to think about food until supper time, but I like having that one meal. And then I don't know. I like the idea of snacks. I do love snacks, and I loved it when I was maintaining before, being able to do supper and then snacks with my husband. I'm just a snacky kind of girl, I guess. But yeah, so I don't know though. I plan to be really flexible and experiment some and just see. So, but Carlene, but one major thing that I will continue to do, which I think is the key to maintenance, is weighing every day, keeping track of my 7-day average, because that keeps you accountable and it lets you get not too far out in left field, and gain and stuff. So that's my plan. Let's see. Lisa, so Wonderland means less than 200 pounds. So that's awesome. Yeah. Oh man, getting under 200, that I stayed on the brink of 200. Like in 2015, that's when I was like trying everything. Not really. I mean, I had a little bit of success, but I was just kind of going crazy. Didn't really have my plan in place. And I got right down at 200. I got under 200, I think, for like a single day, but my 7-day average was not there. And then that was when I plateaued for months, and I was getting so frustrated. I was just trying everything. And like when I finally got below, because really in 2016, when I got very clear on my plan, and I said, okay, this is what I'm doing, and the weight started to come off, then I got under 200, and that was just like, man, it was fantastic. It's so worth it once it actually finally happens. I know it's so hard when you're trying to get under there, though. Okay, Sandy, it's so hot, so I'm trying to walk inside, but I get so bored walking laps in my house. Favorite podcast to listen to? Okay, I keep forgetting to say this one. Mike Rowe's podcast. the way I heard it, best if you've ever listened to Paul Harvey, and that's from back in the day, so maybe you haven't ever heard of him, but these stories that he tells, they always have a twist. It's like this, you wouldn't guess that the person he's talking about is the person he's talking about. It's fascinating. That's one of the best podcasts, I think, period. Tim Ferriss, his podcast is fantastic. Now, his podcast has language, like some heavy language, so that's one I would not recommend with the kids. Mike's podcast is, it has some innuendo occasionally, kind of like Dirty Jobs, if you ever watched that show. Let's see. There's a lot of good ones, though. I love Smart Passive Income with Pat Flynn. I love Stuff You Missed in History Class, stuff you should know. There's so many. I like The Eventual Millionaire. I mean, I like a lot of like entrepreneurial type shows too. So I have like a million. But like just finding the ones, like finding things you're interested in and then listening to it. Yeah, there are so many good ones though. So many good ones. Oh, and the Abundant Artist. There we go. Okay, hopefully that helps you out there, Sandy. Graceful Sky. So far, you've been doing intermittent fasting for a month and a half. You've lost about 4 kilograms. Awesome. It fluctuates a bit, but I'm paying more attention to how I feel and how your clothes feel on you. That is so important, I think, is don't be in a rush. Focus on how you're feeling. Like, really being honest with yourself. How am I feeling right now? Like, is this feeling easy? Am I feeling good? To me that, like, because if it's feeling easy and you're feeling good, you can stick with it over the long term. So I think that's great. Graceful Sky. And congratulations on the 4 kilogram. I know now I multiply by 2.2 and that's like 8.8 pounds. That is really fantastic. For a month and a half, fantastic. I'm telling you. Okay. Sparky. Do you always feel energized when you're fasting? I seem to have an abundance of energy while I'm fasting. Yes. I mean, now, I'm not saying that I don't have my days, because I do. I think everybody has their days, especially like if like, man, this past 2 weeks have been go for us because we've been trying to see like all members of our family and everything in North Georgia. So that was just, but I still had a ton of energy. So yeah, I think it's just a really cool thing about intermittent fasting. Now, not everybody will have that same kind of experience, but I do. I mean, I just feel like I'm firing on all cylinders when I'm fasting, if that makes sense. Let's see, Joni, 3 cheat days in a row and gained 3 pounds. That's 3 weeks of losses ruined. So hard to get restarted. How do I get motivated again? Okay, so Joni, first of all, it's in the past, so don't worry about it anymore. But first of all, I would say, is that your 7-day average, or is that single day weights? Okay, because there's a big difference there, and that's why I always keep track of my 7-day average. My 7-day average, so that's just adding up the 7 days weights, because I weigh every day. I average that out, and that keeps me sane because my single day weights can jump up 3 pounds overnight, easy as pie. In a single week, they can be as far apart as like 5-6 pounds. Okay, so I always look at my 7-day average and see where it's at. Okay, that'll probably help your feelings a little bit if you're keeping track of that. If you look at that number as opposed to just your single day weight went up there. Okay, but let's say it did. Okay, it's in the past. There's nothing you can do about it. So you have a choice right now. You can either say, well, I quit, I give up, I'm never doing this again, and I'm just going to be where I'm at with your weight, wherever you're at. Or you can say, well, I had 3 cheat days in a row, and I don't know why you did. Maybe, maybe it was a family thing. Maybe you just went through something rough, or maybe you just decided to have 3 cheat days. You know what? That's okay. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, you're fine. Don't feel guilty, because, like, guilt, you got to get rid of the guilt, okay? Like, you got to start thinking lifelong changes, lifelong, like, actions. It's not about today and yesterday's weight. It's about, like, where do you see yourself in, next year, 5 years from now? Where do you want to be with your weight? So think in the long term. That helps with the short term, like, little slip-ups and stuff. That's what helps me. And then, asking yourself about, like, why am I doing this in the first place? Like, do you really want to, lose any weight? Like, and that's okay. Like, if you don't want to lose weight, that's okay. Like, it needs to be your decision. You got to own it, whatever your decision is. So, hopefully that helps you. And if you want to give me more details, you can do that too. Shar, thank you for talking about the 200-pound plateau. You're there as well. Keep at it. You're going to be fine. You're going to get under there. You just got to be stubborn sometimes with the scale. You just got to, like, I'm not quitting. Beating obesity. Do you come across people telling you that you're thin enough and you should stop trying to lose weight? Yes. Somebody on here, one of my commenters, and it's all, I think, in just, being nice, and, they're like, okay, you can stop now. And, my answer to that would be, I'm not yet at a place, because I can see my body, and people see, just the up here, but, I still have belly fat. And I think, if I still have belly fat, I've still got some to lose, probably. And the healthy range of weight for me is like from 119 or 115, maybe it's 119, I can't remember, to 154. So that's a huge range. I think people are well-meaning, but it's not something I feel like now if you check the BMI scale, or the chart, BMI chart, and it's telling you you're underweight, then you got something to really think about. But other than that, I would just say, oh, that's sweet, and pretty much do whatever I want to do. I'm wondering, have you had people tell you that, beating obesity? Albert, hi. Oh, hey, Albert, checking in. Thanks for checking in. Vicky, you asked, what made me decide to do OMAD? Okay, so, I didn't really know about OMAD. It's so funny. Okay, so I learned about intermittent fasting back in the end of 2014. That was when I was first introduced to it. And then after that, I went very slowly. I didn't know. I thought, I read one thing one time that said, with females, no longer than a 14-hour fast. So I thought, I can only go so far with fasting. And so that really kept me kind of I didn't want to be too aggressive. But eventually, what I started seeing was intermittent fasting was the one thing that I was trying that I could actually stick with. Everything else, when it came to trying to be high protein or trying to be, trying to count calories, that wasn't working for me over the long term. It just wasn't. I could not stick with it. But intermittent fasting, I could be really disciplined with okay, I'm not eating right now. I'm just not eating. So I started getting a little braver with my window and saying, okay, I'm going to push it out a little further, started having consistent results. And then in 2016, I said, okay, that's it. That's all I'm doing. January 2016, I said, I'm just doing intermittent fasting 6 days a week. At that point, I was probably at a 16-8 fast. And then I started pushing it out. And I might have even been at 18-6 there. Didn't keep super good records. The main thing was just doing the fasting. And so then I pushed it, and I was probably at an 18-6 or maybe even a 24 at a time when the stomach bug went through our house, and I just didn't eat until supper. And I thought, that was kind of easy, it was not, I didn't die from not eating, And so I thought, well, I could try that again. And I tried it again, and then the scale moved down. I can't remember how much, 3 pounds that week, or maybe even more than that. It was enough to make me think, hey, maybe I'm onto something here. And then what happened was, I think I started Googling, is it okay to just eat one meal a day? And then that's where I came across OMAD, and here's an embarrassing tidbit. I didn't know what it stood for. I thought it was nomad, but without the N, so I didn't really know that it stood for 1 meal a day. So embarrassing, but then when I read that article, I was like, okay, other people have done it, and it's okay, and it's healthy. And then I think at that point, I ran across Dr. Fung's articles, and it was okay for females. So that's where it all kind of came from. So, and I was having such good success with it and feeling so good, and I could see myself doing it long term. That's how I landed on OMAD. Okay. Good to catch you again. Oh, thanks, Susanna. Let's see, Joanne, you lost 7 pounds the first week, but have not lost anything for the last 3 weeks, and you're 68 years old. Okay. So, I still think that's great. first of all, you lost 7 pounds, and so that's a lot in 1 week. But if you want to divide that out over 3 weeks, that's like 2 pounds a week. So I still think you're in a great place. A lot of times, now this is just my experience, but what I've found is like the scale will go like this, and then just over time, and sometimes it does this, boom, and boom. So, I would be patient with it and just stick with it, especially if it's something that you think like, okay, I can stick with this, and just be patient. In 2016, my goal was a pound a week, and that's pretty much where I was. I mean, like that's what I lost, about 1.16 pounds a week. Okay, Karina, you said in what increments did you increase your fasting time? Very gradually, and as I felt ready. I mean, sometimes it was only like 30 minutes, sometimes it was an hour, but it was all about like, okay, I think I could do this a little bit longer and a little bit longer. And like I said, once I got to OMAD, I think there was a jump there. Like I was probably at a 24. I mean, I might have even been, I think I was really more like at a 24, and then, just bumping it up to basically a 24-hour fast. Okay, let's see. Deborah, thanks for being my Fitbit buddy and motivating me with the challenges. Oh, you're welcome. You're succeeding with OMAD and have lost 40 pounds, and you're finally under 200. Deborah, that is awesome. That's exciting to me. You've lost 40 pounds. Congratulations. That is awesome. Under 200. I bet you're feeling good right now. Okay. Stephanie, I'm envious of the beautiful walks you're going to be taking during your trials. Oh, I know. Oh my gosh, just today, like we were driving from northeast Georgia up to we're just above Chattanooga and everything right now. Like we're in Grundy County. So the views of the mountains have been spectacular, even from the interstate. We're on like 24, I think. And it is beautiful, and the rocks like on either side, like you're just going through a mountain and there's rocks on both sides. It's amazing. Just the drives have been amazing. I can't wait to get on some walks out here. Okay, hi Jennifer. Let's see, Albert, you started at 244 in November, now you're at 204. You've been doing different methods of intermittent fasting. You've been about the same weight for a few months now. Goal weight was 200. You might go a bit lower when you do hit 200. Yeah, I think it's really good to have kind of a general idea of where you want to be. Sometimes a number itself can be kind of arbitrary. Like I used to say, well, I think 135, but that's pretty arbitrary, and I'm not going to be upset if I can't get down to 135. So, but that's good, Albert. Thanks for sharing your results. Congratulations, 40 pounds down. That's awesome. Deborah, you're diabetic, and you had a heart attack in 2016. You could hardly stand up, and when you started, you fell often. Now you're stepping sometimes up to 8 miles a day. That is awesome. That is awesome, Deborah. Congratulations. You've changed your life, right? That's awesome. Congratulations. That is just great. Let's see. Albert, 6 foot tall, 71. I didn't know you were 71 years old, Albert. 6 feet tall. That's awesome. Deanna, how tall am I? I am 5'6". Joanne, you did 6 miles on the elliptical this morning. So proud of yourself. Ate breakfast, ate lunch. Would that be considered intermittent fasting? Okay, so intermittent fasting, all it means is that you have some sort of time boundary on food, and there is no police out there. They're going to say, well, that's not intermittent fasting, and arrest you or anything. So the way I would define intermittent fasting is you just have a certain time of the day where you don't eat. I would say most people would say a 12-hour fast is kind of the minimum. But I started out with like 8-hour fast. I was like, let me just sleep through it, and that'll be a boundary, and it worked for me. It's all about getting control of my eating. So I would say, if you're saying you're eating, say, breakfast and lunch just every day, breakfast, lunch, yeah, that's intermittent fasting. Yeah, okay. And awesome, about 6 miles on the elliptical. That's pretty challenging. Ellipticals kick my butt. So I'm proud of you too. Deborah, hang in there, Albert. Start at 240, now down below 200. That's right. It can be done. Jennifer, you found IF to be the easiest thing you've tried in a long time. Oh, amen to that. I'm doing an 18.6. Been on this 2 months and I've only dropped a few pounds. Well, right. And, Jennifer, here's what I would say. Like, it depends on where you're at weight-wise, too. Like, some people don't have much to lose. And so the weight's going to come off slower. Like, at this point, I'm in a normal weight range for, like, BMI. So if you've plugged your numbers into the BMI and you're at a normal weight, I would say it might be that your progress would be that slow. If you're trying to increase your rate of loss, then you have options there. Pushing your window out a little bit further, even you can do that, or some people like to kind of try higher protein, all that stuff. But I'll leave that to you. You didn't really ask for my opinion, did you? So, but yes, but the thing is, I mean, it's easy. That's what's so great to me, is like, it's so easy that I'm like, well, it's not even hard, so I'm okay with slow. Let's see. Yes, you get that question from people. They're trying to be kind, but it can get annoying. Yeah. I tell them I'm fine with my weight, but that I keep on trying to be the best version of myself that I can be. That's a great answer. And I think it depends on the who it's coming from too, as far as like, I think, generally speaking, people have their heart in the right place. Sometimes I think people are trying to pay you a compliment, like, oh, you gotta stop because you're too skinny now, like, I think they mean it that way most times. I like to just try to give people the benefit of the doubt and try not to think there's any kind of like undercurrent there of like an ulterior motive or anything. So I think that's good that you have that good answer. Albert, trying to cut out sugar and stay low carbs, not keto, lifestyle change, right? Yeah, exactly. Like, lifestyle change. That's what it's all about, I think, is getting to that point where you feel good about, your body, and you're feeling good with the food that you're eating, all that stuff. Jennifer, the scale goes up and down. Oh, isn't that the truth? Your in-laws live in Northwest Georgia. Ah, interesting. Yeah, I grew up in Northeast Georgia. Sonia, how do you know if you're eating too much? Do you ever think you're eating too much when you eat your one meal? Okay, so how do I know? If I'm eating too much, I think you mean like, well, that's kind of a difficult question, because you might be asking like, like if you're gaining consistently, I'd say you're probably eating too much. So maybe your window's too long and you're able to, overeat, or you're just, you're stuffing yourself too much at the one meal. I try to, whenever I sit down, to be relaxed, to take my time, to enjoy the meal, to think about what I'm eating. I mean, I don't sit in front of the TV and eat, generally speaking. Like, we have one family night where, we might grab a pizza and have it in front of the television. It kind of depends, but and then just, it's been a process, okay? Because I used to sit down and just gorge myself, and I would just, when I got up from the table, I would just hate myself. Like, why did I eat so much? But over time, I've been able to learn, like, okay, I'm starting to get full. I want to eat enough, though. That it is, I mean, it's kind of a balancing act, because you want to eat enough, or I do. I want to eat enough so that I have plenty of energy for the next day. It feels easy the next day. I don't feel like, crap, I did not eat enough, So it's a process. It's a learning thing. A lot of it too is really checking in with yourself after the meal, saying like, okay, how am I feeling right now? Like, think about like, okay, how much did I eat just then? Did, like, what was I stressed? Like, if you find that you're overeating a lot of times what I found was I was just stressed. Like, I would sit down to my meal, I was stressed, and then I would overeat. So I try to get that under control beforehand. I try to not sit down stressed. I try to deal with my stress before my meal. So yeah, hopefully I answered that question. It's very rare now for me to overeat, like where I'm just like, I hate myself. Like, even now, I'm kind of proud of myself, because this past 2 weeks, I was with family. Sometimes it was like a larger group thing, and I tend to feel more uncomfortable at things like that. I tend to, just eat kind of mindlessly, or whatever. We went out to eat a lot, but I can't think of a single time where I was like miserable afterwards. I felt like I ate enough. So, okay, Sophia. Hi, Kayla. Does it matter if the steps you do are through brisk walking or they just have to be 14,000 steps? For me, just the 14,000. I'm a slow walker. I don't have any kind of like pace goal. Generally, I'm about 3 miles an hour. So I think most people be like, oh gosh, Kayla, walk faster than that. But I just like to walk, and especially in the beginning, I was probably slower than that. I know I was slower than that. And I took frequent breaks in the beginning too. Like, it was all about just like, okay, stand up and get a few steps in, and so I'd walk around my house and I would sit down again, my rule was always, you can go as slow as you want to go, as slow as you want to go. You just got to get up and get those steps in. That was it. Trudy, so funny that you asked that. You said maybe you can walk the Appalachian Trail sometime. We were just talking about that with my brother-in-law. He has actually lost some weight with intermittent fasting too, and he has done parts of the Appalachian Trail. And so he was telling us all about his experiences on it. It made me really want to do it, but probably what I would like to do is wait till my kids are older. And my husband had this idea before, like we should do it with our kids and be like a big family thing. But after hearing those stories, it's like, okay, our youngest needs to be 12 at least before we attempt that. So, because it can be pretty challenging. So, okay, White and Gray Boutique. I get nauseous when I work out on an empty stomach. I can only get in my workout in the morning. How do I avoid the nausea? Okay, so that is not something I've experienced, again, because I'm not really, like, it sounds like you're probably like working out, right? And I'm just not. I would say, probably more than likely. And now some people have had success, like lean gains. That was where I first learned about intermittent fasting. And he talked about taking a BCAA powders, like branched chain amino acids is what those are. And he said that, because he's like a personal trainer, and he was talking about how that would help with if you're fasting, if you're working out fasted. If it were me though, I generally don't do like supplements and stuff, so I might, if I was consistently doing that, if I could, if I could only get my workout in the morning, I'd probably eat something beforehand. I just would. I would just eat, a small something. I wouldn't care that it was not OMAD. I can't remember now I think you're at OMAD. So if you're doing OMAD though, I would just say, well, I'm just gonna, you can create your own rules and your own plan. Like, I really hope everybody customizes it completely to them, because that's what I did. Most people would say, well, you can't have half and half in your coffee, and I just made up my own rules. So I think what I'd probably do if I found, oh, I'm getting nauseous all the time, because I hate feeling nauseous. Okay, that's not fun, and I would think I probably won't stick with this over the long term if I'm feeling nauseous every day. So what I'd probably do is, fix myself a sandwich beforehand. That would probably be what I'd do. I'd probably make it a PB&J and work out, and but being really disciplined with it being, just that one thing, and otherwise I'm not eating all day. That's just me. But I'd say, experiment with it, see what makes you feel good. I don't know if you do protein shakes and all that. I don't, because I did protein shakes when I was 13, 14 for the zone diet. I will never say never, but I don't want to ever drink another protein shake for as long as I live. Okay. Joni, I love the averages. That's what's helped me. So I'm not done with this week to average it yet. So I guess keep plugging away. That's what. Yeah. That's. So yeah. Ask the 5 whys exactly. Yeah. And also to clarify, I keep the average running. Okay, so I don't do it just week to week. I keep the running average. Okay, so so every day I have a 7-day average that I can look at. So hopefully that helps you. And I'm glad that was helpful. Okay, Lisa, yeah, the weighing app, the Happy Scale is awesome. It averages your weight loss and sets small weight loss goals for you. That is apparently a really good app. They only have iOS, so I haven't been able to test it out, because that is one that I would love to see, how does it work and what does it do, but I don't have iOS devices. Actually, I might have an old iPhone I could maybe try it out on. Henrietta, can't exercise because of a tear in your knee. You do 18 hours fast, no problem. 17 pounds gone, awesome, in 6 weeks. So it proves exercise doesn't matter on a weight loss plan. What do you think? I think you're absolutely right, Henrietta. There are lots of people actually that have told me, look, I don't exercise at all. I only do, intermittent fasting, and that's working for me. And I say, fantastic, whatever works for you. A lot of people think that the reason I have success with OMAD is because I walk 6 miles every day, and I always try to say, look, I don't think that's it. I think the 6 miles keeps my head in the right place, and it keeps me feeling good, and it keeps my joints feeling good, and all that. So it's like reinforcing it, but I think it makes me hungrier too. Like by the time I sit down at my one meal, I've at least walked 6 miles that day, and so I think it increases my appetite. So then I'm eating more. So then, if I'm not gonna lose, or so in other words, I think it kind of cancels each other out a little bit. But that's just my opinion. I'm not a doctor, but I think that's great, Henrietta. So thank you for sharing that, because I think that is something, some people, they have very busy lives. Like, people are like, well, how long does it take? 2 hours? I'm not doing that. Like, fine, don't do it. I don't, I'm just saying what I do, but that is great. And I'm so glad that you've lost 17 pounds. That's awesome. White and Gray Boutique, I don't take any, you asked what vitamins or supplements do I take? I don't take any. None. I thought about the multivitamins, still don't know. I don't know. I've read research on both sides, and I still can't come to yes, I feel 100% convinced that I should or that I shouldn't. So, let's see. I'm not gaining though. The scale kept going up before I started IF, so that is good, right? Want to know about exercise and water. Okay, so Jennifer, I love how you're staying on the positive side too. I always, that's another thing, I always look for victories. No matter what the scale is doing, I'm like, I'm going to find something to be happy about. Like if I've earned a weight loss badge, or, one thing that really helped me in the beginning, like when I was losing, occasionally I would plateau a bit. That's when I would go and do a personal best in my walking, or, just other things like that to just really, do something, get a victory somehow, or, and just looking back at the progress I've made so far, saying, okay, well, man, but look at this time last year where I was at, or look at this time last month where I was at. It really helps if you can do those things. So that's really good. Okay, but exercise and water. Pretty vague question, so I'm just going to assume you're going to ask me, or you're asking, how much water do I drink? I drink to thirst. So when I'm feeling thirsty, which I am right now, I'll drink water. This is actually coffee, but I will drink water, or I'll drink, LaCroix or tea. I don't do the thing where you just pump yourself full of water. I just don't. I feel like we've got an instinct there. We know when we're thirsty. Like, every animal knows when they need to drink. So, I mean, when I'm out in Florida, or if I'm out hiking in the summertime, I'm drinking the water when I'm thirsty. But that's what I do. Let's see, Deborah's truly so easy doing OMAD. For the first time I can recall, I'm free of carbs controlling me. I don't feel like a crazy addict. That's awesome. I think it is great to not feel controlled by food. I can't remember if you're doing keto or if you're just eating whatever, but because I eat whatever. But it is freeing to just, food isn't controlling me. I control the food. That's a nice place to be. Let's see. Will overeating at the meal slow the process down? Well, Jennifer, so I do the one meal, and I eat whatever I want. I eat however much I want. And, I try not to make myself miserable. It's a fine line, I think. Let's see. I think the question is, can a person sit there and overeat at that one meal? And I just haven't been able to, basically, I think is the thing. Like, so far, up until this point, I eat whatever, however much I want at that one meal. Now, again, that's sitting down. I sit down, I eat the meal, I stand up, and I start fasting again. I don't open my window up for an hour or two and just continually graze. Like, I'm just sitting there for the one meal. So I don't know, but for me, that's what's been the case. I think anybody that's, doing it, give it like 6 weeks, eat however much you want to eat, and see what your results are. Giving myself that freedom to say however much you want. Converse, like it counterintuitively helped me with, not overdoing it. I don't know. Let's see. Carolina, I don't know what you were saying there. Okay. Lisa, OMAD Revolution recommends to set your plate in front of you and set a timer for 5 or 10 minutes. Wait for the timer to go off before you eat. Helps you to slow your eating down. Stop gorging yourself. Let's see. So you set your plate in front of you. Like, are you talking about like your food in front of you for 5 or 10 minutes? And then you eat? I don't know. I've never done that because my kids would start eating and I'd be like, hey, wait for me. Do you ever exercise barefoot? Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce your name. Kate, Jean, maybe? Yeah, actually, I love barefoot hiking. I got into it in Florida, and it was kind of like the springtime, so the ground wasn't too hot. But then as the ground got hotter, got to the point where I really couldn't do it consistently. Just I think it was yesterday, I did a little bit of barefoot hiking in the park where we were staying in Gainesville, and I love it. I prefer, and when I was house walking, I was barefoot walking all the time in my house. I never wore shoes. I just prefer it. I mean, I've always had trouble with my knees, which I've noted even now, like even though I've been wearing shoes for the past several months, when I'm getting my 6 miles in, I don't notice any kind of knee pain. So I think it's probably because I've lost 80 pounds. But, okay. So I love barefoot exercise, absolutely. Joanne Smith, what type of food do I eat? All the food, like any type. The only things I don't eat pork, I don't eat shellfish, but that's not for dietary purposes, that's a religious thing. Yeah, like I eat carbs when I want carbs. I eat, like I just eat anything. Nothing is off the table as far as I'm concerned. If I want dessert, I'll eat dessert. If I want bread, I'll eat bread. Rice and beans and meat and cheese and everything, vegetables, of course, fruit, everything's on the menu all the time. Beating obesity, do you ever get the urge to pick up and do some jogging? Occasionally, but I fight it. No, I don't fight it. I have in the past I've had so many problems with my knees. I haven't tried it since I've lost weight, basically. Occasionally, like the other day, I was doing laundry, and since we're camping, it was at a building, and I had to just grab our bag of laundry and sprint to our RV because it was starting to rain, and that was pretty fun. Like it made me remember, like I really enjoy sprinting more than jogging. I used to jog like 3 miles every day, even when I was 222 pounds, and so. We'll see. I'm not at the point where I want to change anything. I'm really just curious about this certain plan, like just doing it until I just have no more results, and then I'll start messing with, the exercise maybe. Deborah, how did you figure out your walking speed? Also, your stride for Fitbit. For Fitbit, the stride, they give you instructions on how to do that on their support page, I think. The walking speed, one thing was I just walked at a pace that I wanted, and I don't. To be clear, I mean that's just around like I think it's about 3 miles an hour because it takes me about 2 hours. I don't keep track of it. If I want to walk slower, I will. If I want to walk faster, I will. But and one thing I kind of know the pace because of just walking on a treadmill at the gym. I would do that, and so I kind of knew like okay, a 3 feels like this, but let's see. I ask in general because I get asked this too. I'm not counting calories. I'm trying not to stress myself with counting calories. Yeah, like I did. Yeah, yeah. I think that I have to just tell people my experience, which is like I've just so far. I've not gotten to a point yet where I have to say, okay, Kayla, you only get 1 plate of food or you're going to start gaining weight. Like I'm just like sit down, eat what you want to eat. and still losing, though slowly. Let's see. Take electrolyte powder if you feel sickly. That helps a lot. Yeah, Henrietta. Yeah, good point. I've heard for like extended fasting, which I've not experimented with yet. Like salt, a little salt in the water, even can help with like the just blah feeling people get after a couple of days of fasting. Isabel, hi. When you go off plan intentionally, are you more mindful of what you eat? I sometimes go off plan, but I find it hard not to turn it into a full-on cheat day. Okay, that's a great question. When I go off plan intentionally, am I mindful of what I eat? I try to always be mindful in that I try very hard not to just sit there and mindlessly eat. I don't eliminate, like I don't say, well, since I'm going off plan, I'm now eating keto. I don't do that. I just say, okay, I'm going off plan today. So like if it's a family lunch, we just eat the lunch. I pretty much just eat like I would normally eat. And generally what that means too is like, let's say I have lunch, then supper time I'm not going to be as hungry. That's what I've found. But yeah, so not turning it into a full-on cheat day. I haven't struggled with that. I think because I've done it for so long at this point. I think what you have to do, try to be as intentional as you can with it and say, okay, my plan is this. And heck, here's what I would say. If it's that you say, okay, you know what, when I start eating it, like the lunchtime thing, I'm just going to, that about yourself, like I'm just going to keep on eating until supper. Then say, that's the plan. Today I'm going, I'm giving myself this window of eating. And try that, because that at least gets rid of the guilt. It gives you permission to just take that part of the day as just a cheat day or whatever. Or a break from fasting. Some people have been talking about, they don't like calling it a cheat day, and I get that. And so, call it your break from fasting. I'm breaking from fasting for this period of time. I'm just be intentional with it, whatever you're doing. That's what I would say. Ramos, hi. I've been doing 16-8 for a month and a half, and I'm down 10 pounds. That's amazing. Wow. However, I hit a plateau. Do you have any recommendations? I wish I could do OMAD, but you can't since you're breastfeeding. Okay, first of all, you're down 10 pounds. Pat yourself on the back. That's awesome. A month and a half, down 10 pounds. That's almost 2 pounds a week. I think that's fantastic. And yes, baby comes first. Okay, breastfeeding, baby comes first. You'll have plenty of time when you're not breastfeeding. Okay, so. Baby always comes first. The supply comes first. I breastfed all 3 of my kids, and so I'm a big supporter of that. So, what was your question? I got off on my breastfeeding tangent. Okay. So plateaus. So here's what I say with plateaus. I first ask myself, am I being consistent with my plan? Okay. So if you're doing a 16-8, and hopefully you've talked to your doctor and got the go ahead and all that, and you're feeling good, then say, okay. Am I doing my plan? And the answer is yes, I'm doing the plan. Then I say give it 6 more weeks. I'd even say give it 2 more months, but 6 weeks, and see where you're at. My bet is you'll find that the scale's going to move down. It's a weird thing, I think, with the body. Like, it's like you can be trekking right along, and then your body says, "Oh, wait, I don't know, like what you're doing here," and it just like kind of holds on for a while. And then you're gonna find that it'll move down again. That's what has happened to me. That's why I always publish on my progress reports how my weight is going down, and on my website too on how I lost 65 pounds with intermittent fasting. It shows like my chart, and it'll show you like how my weight. It's like a heartbeat. Let's see, Sonia, eat whatever you want. Awesome. Okay, you eat at work, it saves you. Maybe, do you get, like, is it free, maybe? Amy, I'm 51 and have been taking a multivitamin for the past year. When this package is gone, I'm going to give it up because I don't think there's enough research support to support it's needed either. Yeah, after doing one of these lives, somebody was asking me about the multivitamin. I thought, why did I stop taking a multivitamin? Because you kind of vaguely remember. So I looked it up again, and yeah, I'm not convinced. Delayed eating. Oh, hey, Mr. BB, thanks. You're always so nice. Lisa, it helps to tell myself I can eat whatever I want, just not right now. Yes, that was the key for me. Like, Kayla, you can eat whatever you want if you can just hang in there until supper time, or whenever my fasting window opened in the earlier days, and it worked. Okay, Wave Ripper 6 said, what is an extended fast? People might have different definitions. I would say anything longer than a 24-hour fast. Like, some people do 48-hour fast, some people do 5-day fast. Gosh, I've heard of even 21-day fast, which I don't know about all that, but that's just all it means. It just means doing it for longer than a day, which, you got to be careful. I mean, you always have to be careful with fasting, but especially with the extended fasting, you want to make sure you're in a good place to do that. Sana, do you take any coffee or tea while you're fasting? Why, yes, I do. Thank you for reminding me to take a sip. I do coffee with half and half, probably 3 times a day. It depends on the day, but 3 times a day with half and half. So half and half, for all of you non-Americans out there, because I didn't even realize it was an American thing, it's basically cream. Call it cream. It's really half cream, half whole milk is what we would call it. Again, I don't even know how this dairy translates back and forth across country lines, because apparently a lot of people have no clue what I'm talking about when I say half and half. Like, it's a very common question. So basically cream in my coffee. No sugar, just cream. Tea, I'll do unsweetened tea, like iced tea. But that has no calories. But yes, my coffee does have calories in it. It's half and half in it. And I've always done it that way, Sana. Actually, in the beginning, I would have a little bit of sugar in mine, which people would say, don't do that, but I did. And I eventually got rid of the sugar. But Lisa, do you find yourself eating healthier now? Well, not for the past 2 weeks. I've been eating restaurant food, which is not the best for you, I'm sure. I think, yes, overall. Now, people still get on to me about what I eat and everything, as far as in the comment section. Some people get really angry, but yeah, I think overall, certainly, because here's the thing. I don't overdo it on food in general anymore, which I think is very much healthy, or healthier. And like junk food, I just don't like. The other day, my mom was giving out ice cream sandwiches to everybody, like all my kids. I'm telling you, before I lost all this weight, I would have been eating one of those things. I was sitting there, though, I was full. And I just said, no, and it was no big deal, because I gave myself permission. You can have one if you want one, but I just didn't want one. And stuff like that happens a lot more often now. So, yeah, I think overall, I'm definitely choosing healthier foods and choosing just healthier ways of eating. And I'm not eating because of emotions and stuff like that. Wave Ripper, how long do I fast for? It's almost 24 hours. I do 1 meal a day, OMAD. So it's almost 24 hours by the time I've finished, because I sit down and eat my 1 meal. So if I eat at 6:30 every night and it takes me 30 minutes to eat, let's say, then that's like 23 and a half hours of fasting. Trudy, drinking mineral water while fasting helps with electrolytes. Great point. Perrier, right, has minerals in it. They make a sparkling water that I really like. Do you think it's the fasting or the walking that is doing more for my weight loss? I would say I am 95 to 98% sure that it's the fasting. The reason why I say that is this. In 2015, well, even go back to 2014, I was jogging 3 miles a day, okay? 3 miles a day. I was 222 pounds at least. And I was just not losing any weight, I was doing the what I would call the exercise side of the equation, but I just couldn't outrun my fork, but for me, the walking is necessary, I think. Like, I want the walking in there. I mean, at this point, would I start to gain weight if I continue doing what I was doing and I just stopped walking? I don't think so. But walking keeps my head in a good place, keeps me feeling good, and so I like it and I'll keep it. But it's just been my overall kind of observational, thing. Because I'm asking people, it comes up in conversations. People will say, "Well, I'm getting my steps in, but I'm not losing any weight," and they haven't changed their eating. So that I think if you're going to only change one, change the eating side of the equation. Okay, Sophia, does coffee not break your fast? It's great if you still have been able to lose weight. Yeah, so I've lost 80 pounds and I've had my half and half of my coffee the entire time. So does it technically break the fast? There's a thing called fat fasting, and I don't know much about it. I just heard Jason Fung kind of mention it, but it's this idea that if you're eating pure fat, your body can still be in a fasted state. Now, I don't understand all that, but kind of my theory is maybe the half and half, since it has so much fat in it, and that's mainly where the calories are coming from, maybe that's why I've still been able to lose the weight. Or, some people might say, well, maybe it's just you're consuming fewer calories overall because you're just consuming it in one meal. Maybe. I don't know. All I know is that I've still been able to lose weight. Okay. All right, let's see. I believe in the set point for your weight that Dr. Fung talks about, Trudy, I think that is probably a thing too. Like the idea that you can kind of get to a weight and it takes a while to like move on from that point, or that once you get to a weight and you maintain it for a while, that it's almost like you can be looser with it and you can still maintain. I think that is a thing, but I haven't done a lot of research on it. I know someone who calls it their feast day instead of their cheat day. Yeah, that's a good one. I like that, Karina. Karina. Hope I said your name right. Yeah, I think that's a good name of feast day, or resting from fasting day. That's a horrible name from it, right? It's too much of a mouthful. Oh, thank you, Ramos. I'm glad you liked the content. Did it work without walking 6 miles? Okay, so Wave Ripper, I never tried it without walking the 6 miles. So in 2015, I was doing some stuff with intermittent fasting, okay? I was like, I kept getting in a hurry, and so I'd change everything around. It was just not being consistent with anything in general. But all during that time, I was doing some form of working out, I did CrossFit, I did powerlifting, I did, running, I did sprinting, I did jogging, I did, everything. So I have never tried it without, but I will tell you, there are lots of people out there that have shared with me personally, like, I'm not exercising at all, I'm only doing intermittent fasting, and I'm having these results, and they're great results. So that would be my that's why I say I think you could do it without walking 6 miles, but I can only tell you what I've done. Let's see, Henrietta, put my scales in the trash. Oh no. Now, and you go to weigh at your pharmacy every 2 weeks. It stopped me going nuts. Yeah, with the scales going up and down, you get a true reading that way. Yeah, so Henrietta, I understand what you're talking about, because it can be easy to get obsessive with the scale and weigh multiple times a day and everything. Why I do it the way I do it, so I weigh every day, but I almost ignore that single weight. I look at my 7-day average, so I'm just plugging it into the spreadsheet, and then it's showing me, like, on average, what did you weigh this week? For the past 7 days, what has your weight been? And that kind of helps smooth that out. But I think whatever's working for you, if that's what you can stick with, I think that's great, because what I have found, though, for me, once I stop weighing, it is very hard for me to get back on the scale. Like, I've gone on vacation before while doing this whole thing, and being off the scales for a week, man, it drove me crazy. And I kept thinking, oh, what's the weight going to be? What's the weight going to be? It wasn't that bad once I got back on there, like, especially if I'd taken all that time off. But there was that fear there. So I like to keep the scale like just there, every day. It's just part of my routine. Every morning I wake up, I put it in my Fitbit app, and then I go on about my day. It keeps me accountable. But whatever works for you, I say that's what you should do. So let's see. Wave Ripper, great idea. How do I find the time to watch 2 hours a day? I don't watch much TV. I read somewhere that the average American watches, I don't know, I want to say it was 4 hours of TV a day. But let's just say it's 2 hours. Because I think a lot of people, that's pretty common, right? Like you start watching at 8, you watch for a couple hours and you go to bed around 10. So I just said, well, if I got time to watch TV, or if most people have that much time to watch TV, I've got enough time to watch or to walk. And so that's just kind of how I did. I just said, I really don't have an excuse. I can find the time. So that's looked a lot of different ways depending on what I was doing in my life at the time. What it looks like right now, my husband and I wake up at about 5 o'clock in the morning and we walk for 2 hours. So by 7 o'clock, we're done with our steps. So that's what we do now. But in the past, it's been, I get, 1,000 here and 1,000 there. And by the end of the day, there were days, though, that I would be like, it's 10 o'clock and I've really got to get my steps in now. And I would just, do my steps. So, hope that helps. So blessed. Oh, I'm glad you found the channel too. Thank you. Have a good night, Joanne. Glad thanks everybody. That's so nice. All right, yeah. You love tea. That's good saying it. Yeah, or saying sauna. I'm glad that you found the channel too. Let's see. You can do the Wave Ripper. You said you can do the fast. I hardly eat. It's the walking you're having trouble with. Yeah, and look, I'm all about whatever feels easy. Like however you're feeling good and whatever's working for you. Whatever you can see yourself sticking with over the long term. Can you do this day in, day out? And then just see, and record your results so this is working or this is not working, I think. Let's see. All right, let's see. How long did it take me to lose the weight, and how much weight, and are you still trying to lose? Okay. So, it kind of happened in phases, okay? 2015, that's when I first got on the scale, like February 2015. I got on the scale, weighed 222 pounds. I started going to the gym every day. Actually, I was going to the gym every day at that point. Started going to the gym every single day, doing everything I could. Learned about intermittent fasting in 2014. Started to implement in 2015. I lost about 15 or so pounds that first year, maybe up to 17. But by the end of the year, it had started to creep back up. So I was in 2016, beginning of January 2016, I was about ready to give up. I thought, forget it. I've been killing myself at the gym. I had injured my back doing deadlifts, so I just felt kind of defeated. But I got stubborn and I said, no, I really want to lose this weight. So in 2016, January 2016, I was at about 205, 207. I lost down to 157. So let's just call that 50 pounds of weight loss in 2016, from January 2016 to November of 2016. It's about 11 months, 50 pounds down. Okay. I maintained that for a year because I thought, I'm not going to be able to keep this off because I was really concerned. So I kept it off for until September 2017. That's when I started this channel, and I said, I'm still a few pounds overweight. Like BMI-wise, I was like 3 pounds or so from being in the normal zone. So I at least want to get down into the normal zone, get good and secure in there. At this point, I've lost like 80 pounds. So I've lost an additional, what's that, like, let's see, well, about, 12 or so pounds, 12, is that right? So that's how long it's taken me. So it's not that it took me that long to lose 80, it just took me a while to figure out what worked. And then I maintained for a year before I said I want to lose more. Am I currently still losing? I'm currently still losing very slowly, about 1/3 of a pound a week. And so I'm at a point now where if I never lost another ounce, I'd be super happy where I'm at. So I think that answered all your questions. If I missed something, let me know. Does your family join in with the fasting? If not, it must be tempting to sneak in food whilst cooking their meals. Great willpower. Well, thanks, Catherine. So I've got 3 kids, a 12-year-old, a 9-year-old, and a 6-year-old. They don't fast. It's not that I think that that's necessarily a bad thing, because other cultures, they have different eating patterns. But for my kids, they eat, whenever they want, they self-regulate really well. So my husband tried fasting, and he's just not a good faster. Like he's a very skinny guy, and so he in order to fast, a lot of times I think in order to feel good while you're fasting, you need to have some body fat on you, and he just really doesn't have body fat, so he doesn't really fast. He did though for a while. He tried OMAD for a while, and as far as cooking eating while cooking. Yeah, eating while cooking. I don't really cook breakfast and lunch. Okay, my kids are old enough; they can fend for themselves on those 2 meals. So for supper time, and if I need to taste something, I will. Like I'm not that I can't eat anything until I sit down. Like it's like if I'm going to taste, to make sure something's got enough salt, I'm just going to be fine with that. So but in the beginning, that did take a lot of willpower because occasionally I would cook my husband breakfast, and he got to feeling so bad about it. He was like, just don't, I'll make my own breakfast. But it was hard in the beginning, but now it's easy. Like I can sit there and make stuff all day, and I don't feel the need to eat. Let's see, an American Home said, so do you believe that having your eating window during daylight hours is important, like making sure that you don't eat too late at night? I don't. I mean, that's just me. I kind of tested that theory. I would say I tested it pretty well because when I was maintaining for that period of time, I ate late at night. That's how I did it. I would eat supper and then I would eat snacks at night, and I loved that pattern, and I was still able to maintain. I didn't gain a bunch of weight. But I think it's worth experimenting with. Like if it's something where you feel really good eating at night, then I'd say try it. European people eat a lot later than we do, and they don't have nearly the problems that we have over here in America with obesity. So at least that's my understanding. When you do eat, what type of tybalt do you eat? I think you meant food. I think you said, Abby, but do you limit your portions? Okay. I don't limit my portions. I don't limit anything. Anything I want to eat is on the menu. Like high carb, that's fine with me. I'll eat rice and beans. I'll eat pancakes. I'll eat, chicken and vegetables. I'll eat hamburgers and fries. I'll eat anything. Anything is on the menu. That was the one thing that I was really wanting to figure out is how can I do this so I don't have to do any kind of special food. I don't have to restrict anything. And so that's what's worked for me. And I don't restrict portions. I try to not make myself completely miserable when I eat. So I try to be mindful of okay, I'm actually full now, so let's stop eating. According to our natural circadian rhythms. I think I answered that right. Okay, this is great. I have the cat out. Bye, Henrietta. Thanks for joining us. Okay. Do I have any rules like not eating after 6 p.m.? No, I don't. So my only rule at this point is I eat 1 meal a day. Okay, so that just means I sit down, I eat that 1 meal with my family, I stand up from the table, I start fasting again, and I won't eat until supper the next day. Now, when I had a fasting window, I still didn't do I have to be done eating by 6 p.m. I just set my window up, so maybe my window would go from 4 to 8 p.m. let's say. That would be a 20-hour fast. I never made it so it's I got to be done eating early. In fact, it's hard to say because it's been a couple of years now since I was at that point. I tried to actually kind of push the eating later so that I could have a snack so that the morning fasting would be easier. That's what worked for me. Okay, how long after you finish your meal or meals does the fasting window start? 1 hour after finishing 2. let's see, how long after you finish your meal does the fasting window start? So for me, I would just say as soon as I stop eating. See, so because I'm doing OMAD, so when I say that, I just sit down, eat my meal, I stand up, and I start fasting again. Now I'm not timing it, okay? I don't, because I'm at OMAD. My only rule is I just eat supper every day. So I just sit down and eat supper. I'm not really watching the clock and everything. But when you're doing intermittent fasting and you have a window, so like, let's go back to the 4 to 8 p.m. Eating window. That was, for a while, that was a thing I did. I would say at 4 o'clock I can start eating, but at 8 o'clock, I need to have eaten my last food, so I do not eat past 8 o'clock. So, like, if I want to eat something at 7:58, I will, put it in my mouth and be done chewing by 8 o'clock. That's how I would do it. Okay. Thank you, American Homestead. I love the country wine shirt you have worn so often. Okay, so my sister's winery is Sweet Acre Farms Winery. I know the shirt you're talking about, probably the gray one. I wear it quite often on here. And they are in Alto, Georgia. My sister owns her own winery. They make their own wine, the fruit wines. They're amazing. If you're ever in Northeast Georgia, you should go check them out. They also ship their wine now too. SweetAcreFarms.com. I think that's their web address. If my husband's on here, maybe he'll put the link. I don't know. Okay, Peter, we're talking about OMAD and intermittent fasting. Would I ever shave my head or do something special for charity? Actually, I have plans to do. I'm going to try to do 100,000 steps in a single day, and I want to do a fundraiser for a charity called Kinship United, and I want us to try to raise money to dig a well for them, but more details to follow. I don't know exactly which day I'm going to try that, but I'll give you more details as I have them. So thanks for asking that. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, Dr. Flynn says heavy whipping cream is okay in coffee. That's right, yeah. Okay, well, and I've done heavy whipping cream in my coffee, just not very consistently. If I have it on hand, I love it in my coffee. I think it tastes amazing. Okay, so I think that's enough for today. We've been live for over an hour, so thank you guys so much for joining me. If you want to continue the conversation, you can go over to 6milesofsupper.com/community, and you can post on the forums over there. I try to be pretty involved over there, and people are really great about helping out with different questions and stuff, and they share with what's working for them. So Lisa, yeah, whatever works for you. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining me, and we'll do this again next Wednesday. I don't know where I'll be, but let's keep it